everyone, hope you're doing amazing today. We're doing really well, thank you. My name is Carolina Fonseca Jimenez. I focus on doing children's books that promote love, unity, and peace. And as you know, we also interpret dreams here. The reason that we interpret them is because when we do, we are connecting with our subconscious, but when we share them, we are connecting with one another on a more profound level. So good news, we finally got caught up on all the dreams that you all have sent, so I'm very excited about that. And now we're moving on to some of the just questions that you've sent me, right? One of the questions that really stuck to me was this one, okay? So let's talk about it. Someone said, Carolina, I am doing a really good job right now at connecting with myself, understanding the things I like, the things I don't like, and being more true to myself, right? But they're saying that while they're doing this, they're realizing that people in their life that were once friends or once a partner are slowly drifting away, right? So she's like, why is this happening and what can I do about it? So first of all, let me just say that that is actually a very good thing. It doesn't seem like it all the time, right? But I'm going to explain it to you a little bit further. And what happens, guys, is whenever you send me a question, I don't know all the answers. I don't have all of the answers, and I certainly do not pretend to. But what I do is that I listen to your question and I meditate on it, right? Because I know that the questions that you send me, it's not just a coincidence. There's something that I can learn from them too. And a lot of the time, it reflects something that either I've gone through before or something that is like currently happening, which is actually very interesting. So when I meditated over this question, after I came out of that meditation, there was this image that I saw, and it was an image of a flower, right? And I want to explain that to you in answering this question, okay? So guys, whenever we think about a flower, what does a flower need? The flower begins as like a little seed or whatever, right? Then it needs the rain, and then when the rain comes, it's able to, like, you know, stretch its little roots out and spread around. And then after that, it actually starts growing, it starts blooming, right? And it needs the energy from the sun. So just like the flower, we also need very similar things, because when we think about it, as humans, we also have to be connected to our roots, right? Whatever that looks like for you, it may look different for you than it does for me, but basically we need to be connected to our roots, and we need to be connected to nature also, right? We also need that space to grow, okay? Just like we need that space to grow, we also need energy from the sun, and we need loving energy. That's how I have interpreted the loving energy of the sun. For a human, I think of it as love, okay? So just like the little flower needs all of that, the human needs very similar things, okay? But what we're realizing is that once we start doing the things that we love, and once we start growing, yes, people start drifting away. But remember, when people start drifting away, a lot of the time new people are starting to come into our lives with that new energy that we're sharing with people, okay? And remember, guys, whenever someone is with you in your life, let's say it's a friend, let's say it's a partner, whatever, whoever they may be, whenever they're with you, it's because we have something to learn from them, and they also have something to learn from us. But remember also that whenever they start drifting away, it's okay to let them go, okay? We let them go with loving energy because we know that we have learned something from them and they have learned something from us, so we have to be comfortable with letting them go. Just like we would expect the same from other people. If we are at a point where we have learned everything that we can from a particular individual and we feel the need to move on, it's totally normal and it's totally okay to do that, okay? Because remember, we are here to learn from one another. We're not here to just be stuck with the same people all the time and not have that flexibility to move and to change and to grow, right? We want to make sure that we have the ability to grow and to change, but we also want to make sure that we allow other people to do the same, okay? So just like the flower grows is very similar to the way that we are all growing. One of the other parts to this conversation is that one of you in particular said that whenever you are being more of yourself, whenever you're understanding who you really are and just being that loving, wonderful energy that you are, you're noticing that it's starting to bother or maybe annoy some people around you, okay? So let's talk a little bit about that, because actually I can relate to that, right? I can relate to that, where you're connecting to be more of who you are, and maybe you're just a very energetic, a very loving person, and you start sharing more and more of that, right? But you start seeing that it annoys people around you, okay? That is very interesting, and let me say this. Let's flip the script for a little bit to help us really understand this. Let's pretend that I am the one that is upset about somebody, right? Let's pretend. Okay, so let's pretend that I'm going into an event and I see someone that is just like exuding this wonderful energy, this wonderful loving energy, and just has like this light to them, right? If I'm looking at them and if I start getting angry, frustrated, or even jealous of their energy and of them, the bigger question is, why am I feeling this way, right? Because whenever you are jealous or upset of anyone or anything, the bigger and underlying issue about it is that you actually admire something about them. You actually admire something about them, but the problem is that for whatever reason, you haven't gotten to that point, and that is okay. Okay, that is totally okay. So can you see that, like, whenever you flip the script of something, it always kind of helps you understand what the other person may be going through. So next time that this might happen to you, if you see someone and it bothers you and it makes you jealous or whatever it does to you, if it's one of those more heavier energies, just think about it. Question yourself, why am I feeling this way? There's something I admire about this person, the way that they shine, the way that they're spreading love, the way that they are just so full of energy. I would love to have that. And if you reflect on it and say, you know what, maybe I'm not operating out of that right now, but I know that I can and I want to get there, right? And guys, it helps us really celebrate people, because now what we're doing, instead of looking at a person and almost judging them, now we're just celebrating who they are. And now we're saying, you know what, yeah, you are super positive or happy or whatever you may be, and I want a little of that, and I want to grow and be comfortable with myself, right? So that really helps us to connect with ourselves and to realize what the underlying issue is, right? So remember that whenever you come across a situation like this, you have to be patient with yourself, okay? Remember that the flower needs enough space to grow. It needs enough space to grow, and it needs love in order to be able to grow. That's the same thing with us, right? We have to remember that we need space to grow. We may need our particular moment or our particular time frame, and it looks different for everyone, right? And just like we need this particular time and we need this kind of energy and we need this love to grow, we also have to remember that other people need the same thing, okay? Other people also require the same thing, and that is okay. So if it ever happens to you that you're in a situation and it bothers you, whatever someone's doing starts to bother you or starts to aggravate you or whatever, take a step back and just say, okay, whatever it is that they're going through, they obviously need to go through it to learn something. But me observing that and it bothering me makes me question something bigger. Why is it bothering me so deeply, and what is it that I need to work on, right? Because again, guys, remember, everybody's going through their own individual process. Everyone is trying to do better. Everyone is trying to grow, okay? And just like we're trying to do that, we have to allow others to be able to do that too. There was this one motivational speaker that I think she's absolutely amazing. Her name is Lisa Nichols, and she said something that was really cool and really connected with me. She said that she would always like to shine with all of her light, right? She wanted to be just a bright, happy person, and that she started to realize that the more happy she was, the more loving she was, the more it would annoy people around her. And she used to kind of dim her brightness, right? Start being a little quieter, start being less happy. And guys, I can relate to that, because years ago I used to do something similar. I used to feel almost like I had to tone it down so that others could be comfortable. I had to tone it down in hopes that other people would start like being more of who they were, right? And guys, that was the biggest error I could have made, because what I was really doing is I wasn't respecting myself enough to be me, to be all of me, right? And when you do that, when you start toning it down or start to be quiet and not say certain things, you're really just giving that energy for other people to do the same. And we certainly don't want that. We want people to be bright, right? To be bright and to be all who they are. And what Lisa said was that when she would shine with all of her brightness and be exactly who she was, and if it bothered people around her, she said, instead of dimming my light, she's like, I am just going to hand them shades, so that way my brightness won't offend them, so that way my brightness doesn't bother them. And I thought that was really funny, but it was also super accurate, right? It's also super accurate because it's allowing us to be who we really are, being okay with that, right? Shining with all the brightness that we have, with all the loving energy that we have, but also remembering that other people have to do the same thing too. Okay, just like that flower, just how that flower needs that space to grow, needs that loving energy, other people need the same thing. Okay, so just allowing ourselves to do that and allowing other people to do that is really such a big relief, and it's really inspirational for all of us, right? Because there's enough room for all of us to grow. And remember that if certain people in your life are starting to drift away, That's okay. They have learned everything that they can from you. You have learned everything that you can from them at this moment. So we have to send them loving energy and allow them to go. All right, guys. So this week we continue to grow like that flower, right? We're going to give ourselves our space so that way our roots can grow, so that way we can be connected to the earth, so that way we can have loving energy and just be more beautiful than we've ever been, right? We're going to grow just like that flower, but we're also going to give people space and energy to do the same. I send you love, unity, and peace, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.